So I don't know too much about you. What was, I mean, in terms of your journey is to become a comedian, what were you doing before you were a comedian, and what made you want to be a comedian?
Lack of affection from parents is a big factor in me doing it. So before this, I had a few jobs, but directly before doing stand-up, I was working as a teaching assistant in schools, and that was heavy going. Because I was on supply, because I just started doing this. I think that I'd always wanted to do something entertainment-wise, I think. And I tried doing acting, and it just wasn't good enough. So then I sort of dabbled in I did a bit of like a stand-up course. Yeah. And then it sort of got me foot in the door that way. So I was doing teaching assistant work at the same time as starting out in stand-up. So I was on supply. So they just sent me to the roughest schools that no one else would want to go to, which was like pupil referral units. So for children being expelled from mainstream school, I'd be sent in. So I'd die on my arse in a gig in Hull. Right, and then I'd have to be up at 7 o'clock to go and then physically have a threat to my life in an area of Manchester by a kid called. I was actually going to say the name then, but you'll have to bleep it. But yeah, it was very full on.
So for most people, going into stand-up comedy is sort of terrifying. But for you, it was sort of better than what you were doing in the daytime. Yeah, less scary, less
physical threat.
Yeah,
I can deal with silence. I've been with my partner 10 years, but like aggression. Like one day I went to a school. I forgot about this, and the head teacher. I'd never been there before, and the head teacher sort of said, "Can I have a word?" And not on supply. They never did this. She said, "Can you come into the room for a minute?" And I'd never been in the school before, so I thought I haven't done anything wrong. And then she was like, "Just to let you know, if you want to leave at any point, you can." So I was like, how fucking bad is this? Like, she's going to give me like a safe word or something. Because it was like, yeah.
Wow.
Like a girl tried to set me on fire. Not even bonfire night, just like a normal month. I think it was February. And then I have a routine about it, which I do. Like, just getting the names I got called.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine. Guess what I got called?
I can think of much worse things than the kids would say. Smellless.
No, just got that in mainstream school.
Okay.
It was mainly like, you prostitute.
Okay, it was not as witty as me.
Dirty slag, which was a guess.
I didn't realise I was going to be allowed to just swear at you. If I'd known I could just say rude things, I'd have been right in there to say, this was an opportunity for me. Was it whore? Were you a dirty whore? So, you don't get many opportunities like this, guys, and I left it. Sorry.
Just clip that bit, dirty whore. But yeah, just everything.
Yeah.
So it sort of makes you bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then, I can deal with a woman shouting out about having a fight with Jimmy Corkill in a breeze.
Because you are, like, again, one of the awards you won recently was for Best MC, and you are kind of renowned for... And being an MC, it's kind of a hard job, and it's often a thankless job, because often the thing that happens with MCs is people come up to you afterwards and go, "You're good enough to be one of the proper comedians," which is a real misunderstanding of what the job is, because they have to. A good host has got to be as funny as anyone, but also be able to get things going and judge the mood. Right? What's the skill that makes you?
I don't know. I guess sort of being likable without being too aggressive, because you need to lay down ground rules.
Yeah.
So it's not a free for all.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be too aggressive where they're like, "Oh, I don't like it." Do you know what I mean? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, so you've got to be. Well, although sometimes I do that when it's Christmas gigs.
Yes.
I do, especially if I've had no sleep and my kid's been up all night, I will lose my rag. But I guess it's being a sort of finding that even balance of being likable and then wanting to talk to you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is that balance, because it's. You've got to. I mean, the teaching things is the same thing. You've got to be in control.
Yeah,
but you've got to allow a little bit of, and you can't be a party pooper. Yeah. You've got to allow a bit of anarchy. But if someone misses the mark, you've got to shut them down in an aggressive way. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, Christmas is the worst, as you know, because. It's a lot of works parties who would never normally go to comedy. Yeah. And they are being forced to come and watch something they don't want to watch. Yeah. So we did a gig in Hereford, and it was like a brewery. We're on like a works night out, and I was the MC. And behind the curtain, before I even gone on, I could hear them belching and like farting and stuff, and like they're like, and they're all like wetting themselves laughing at it, and I was like, oh god, I've got to go on. Yeah. Like it was just, and they were like screaming stuff out, just chanting, like they were chanting to me, get your top off and things like that. But my boyfriend was like, oh, you're wearing that jumper, that horrible jumper, and I'm like, that's not why they're shouting, get your top off. Put a blouse on.
Just giving you fashion advice. Try this. It'll suit you much better. There's the loveliest hecklers in the world, rather than the disgusting animals they actually.
Maybe a V-neck glove. But and to calm that down was just something else, because you sort of have to go, right, well, there's only so much I can do before they have to get security involved. They did get thrown out eventually, not for me, but it's like calming them down, but then also not, making it for everyone else who's paid for a ticket and wants to listen to it.
Of course. But also I think with MC is, if you as a comedian, if you have a horrible gig, you come off and you go home, or you go to the next gig and it's fine. If you're an MC and you've had a horrible bit, you've got to come back on 2 or 3 more times.
Me again. Doesn't mean so they don't like you. Then you're there all night, and then you'll see them in the fucking car park as well, and they'll tell you they don't like you as well. So that's always fun when you can't get in your car. And someone's going, I don't actually like you very much. What do you think, Dave? Just need to go now.
Yeah. But you do very well, so that doesn't happen very much.
No, not very often. No. I can tell you the dates out.
It's interesting. All comedians will. I mean, there are some comedians, you read their books and their autobiographies, and it's like they never talk about dying, and they never talk about having a bad gig. And I don't for a second believe it. Either they just don't have the awareness to know when they're not going well, which I think is true of some. They just believe every gig's brilliant because they believe in themselves so much.
There are people like that though. Like I don't think he gigs anymore. There was someone, and I remember when I started, and he absolutely stank the room out, like literally horrendous. Yeah. And then he come off and he went, really enjoyed that. I thought it was really good. And I was like, fucking hell. And I used to think, I wish I had that lack of self-awareness. Yeah. But now I don't. I'm glad, because I'd like to, when I'm dying, at least I'm aware of it, and I can go, I need to do better, or I need to do something else.
It's good to know, but I think it's sort of the very best and the very worst acts have that absolute self-belief.
Yeah.
So like it's a fine. If you're very good, luckily it's okay. You can be that arrogant, but if you're not good, it's sort of the worst thing that you could possibly.
And I just started and thought, I don't even have to tell any jokes. This is great.
Well, it's great that fuck off. I'm just going to talk to myself. Fuck off, Rich. You're a load of shit. Right, I was listening to you. Fuck off, you shit at this job. Good.
Repeating what your daughter says.
I was just going to say, it's great that you've done so well, and just fuck off. Fuck off. I did your job for you.